Jacob here to bring you guys a special top 5 ranking of our collective favorite Queen of the Silver Screen Bette Davis movies. I am Bloody Jacob, infuriatingly in your head, and this is my friend PM Snyder.
Hey, so I was formerly PM Turner of Old Hat Cinema, still go by that channel name, but I'm now PM Snyder after my recent marriage.
Bette Davis, her career spanned decades, and I think the greatest testament to her is that we're still talking about movies from the 30s and 40s.
Absolutely.
And literally 2026.
Yeah.
Some of these movies are nearing 100 years old.
Which is crazy to think about, and it just goes to show you how well they withstand the test of time.
Mm-hmm. There's just something about Bette Davis. You could talk about the acting styles are more theatrical back then, but something still strikes a chord with her.
Oh yeah, just sheer talent all the way. She's my favorite classic actress by far, and that's coming from someone who's been studying classic film for the better part of 7 or 8 years now.
Mm-hmm. And this maybe gives hope for current generations that we're still talking about this.
I sure hope so.
And not just the latest comic book film blunder.
Right?
Yeah.
So true.
Yeah. See, now do I rattle off 10 honorable mentions, or do I get right to 5?
That's totally up to you.
I'll get to the point, maybe.
Okay.
5 is probably going to be a wild card for me. I doubt it's probably one anyone else will have in their top 5, but it's going to be The Nanny, 1965.
Fantastic choice.
A lot of people talk about whatever happened to Baby Jane, which of course deserves all its accolades and recognition. But something about The Nanny, I think it was partially because it was a Hammer horror production.
Yes, yeah.
And of course, Hammer horror was known for a lot of the Christopher Lee Dracula
Peter
movies.
Cushing,
Cushing.
Absolutely.
Even some of the Frankenstein movies.
Oh, yeah.
So there's always a slight bit of camp and cheese to it, but it always is kind of, just blistered with atmosphere.
Right. Oh, yeah.
And The Nanny, it's it's a little reeled in for a lot of the runtime. It's regarding this young child who was sent away because of the death of his younger sister. And he blames the family's nanny for it, of course, played by Bette Davis.
Right.
So he returns home eventually, and there's just a lot of tension about him still believing her to actually be this monster, not this perfect, role model taking care of the family. So, it gives you a nugget. Yeah, okay, there's probably clearly something up with Bette Davis, but it plays with the expectations a little bit. And it touches on what's actually going on in Bette Davis's head just enough to give you some depth, but not ruin the mystique of what the crescendo of the movie is going to be.
Exactly. It is a very self-contained film.
Mm-hmm. And the ending, I gotta say, is probably one of my favorites too, if you remember it.
Okay. It's been a few years. It would definitely be well worth a revisit from me.
Mm-hmm. And what's number 5 for you?
Number 5 on my list is going to be The Petrified Forest from 1936.
Oh, yeah.
Just kind of early on in her career, but just something about not just her performance, but kind of the atmosphere, because the plot concerns basically a small group of people held at gunpoint in a diner out in the middle of Arizona, and Humphrey Bogart plays this escaped gangster, essentially, who holds up this diner to hide out from the police, and it's so much more than, your average gangster picture of the 30s, of which there were plenty, and many were very good. But what sets it apart for me is the highly introspective and almost poetic and whimsical screenplay. And so the focal point, even more than the holdup, is the romance between Bette Davis's character and her leading man, Leslie Howard's character, who is a struggling writer who seems to never be able to find fulfillment in himself or the world around him. And I find that fascinating. It feels like a gangster picture and a character study. And I really appreciated it. I've seen it multiple times, and it always holds up for me.
Good, yeah. And that's a semi-earlier Bogart role, wasn't it?
Very early for Bogart, yeah. He wasn't even... He wasn't even an established star yet. I believe it was Leslie Howard that convinced for him to be cast in the film.
I remember reading about that.
Yeah.
And my number 4 is actually one I shockingly had her watch for the first time.
Yeah.
Which I did not expect to be able to pull off at any point. Because she's covered a lot of ground, but that is Another Man's Poison from 1952, which reunites Bette Davis with Gary Merle from... it's slipping my mind.
Is it All About Eve?
All About Eve, yeah, one of the most famous films she's ever done.
That's okay.
But yeah, this one, again, it's probably one that not a lot of people would have in their top few, but for me, it's a really nice, contained thriller. It almost feels like a play in the scale. It's primarily one location, except for some horse riding trips and stuff like that. Gary Merle shows up as a sort of a criminal,
on the run type shady character,
yeah, who knows Bette Davis's husband, who seems to be a bit MIA at the moment.
Yep.
And then kind of stuff comes out about what's actually going on and kind of their motivations, and it's like the steady ramp up of tension. So they're kind of simultaneously playing a chess match with each other.
Definitely like a mental game of cat and mouse. Yeah.
No, like real romance. There's like a slight bit of forced sexual tension from one end to one.
Very forced.
So they mostly just start kind of both wanting to kill each other.
Yeah, pretty much.
But they also have to figure out a way of how the predicament for each other, so they kind of have to both see how it plays out to a point. Too.
Right, because they hate each other, but they're safer by teaming up.
Right. And I think Bette Davis, of course, is incredible here. I love some of her outfits. I'm sure, again, it's something that doesn't get talked about versus like a lot of her more famous movies, but even her in the cane,
the riding crop,
the riding crop, and then her relationship with her horse Fury, which plays into the plot nicely.
Oh, you don't see that a lot in movies. The human-animal relationship explored in a bit of a unique sense.
Yeah, even just that quieter scene where she's talking to him at night, Like, it wasn't, like, a lot, but it was something that's just kind of nice to have in there.
Oh, yeah.
And, for where the grandeur of where the character relationships go, it's nice to have a couple more low-key...
Absolutely.
Scenes like that. And then the note it ends on, I think, is perfect, and it's something that's kind of burned into my head a little bit.
Oh, yeah. Yup. A wonderful sense of irony in that ending.
Yeah. And it was your first time seeing it, too.
It was. Yeah. Just watched it for the first time, and thought it was a very neat little British film, which I did not expect, actually. You don't see that a lot from Bette Davis. So, yeah, very, very interesting, good little noir experience. Absolutely. I think that segues very smoothly into my number 4, because that is All About Eve. From 1950, one of Bette Davis's more famous films, as we were saying. And, man, that movie has a sprawling cast, because we've also got Gary Merle, along with George Sanders, who is always incredible. And then some of the other ladies are Anne Baxter, Celeste Holm, and a very young Marilyn Monroe in one of her early film appearances. I love the backstage drama that's explored in All About Eve, the relationships between theater people, and the way fame truly is very, very fleeting, and nobody is irreplaceable when it comes to the theater.
All About Eve is one I still, of course, like a lot, too. We might not have it at the same, placements necessarily, but I definitely acknowledge All About Eve. I have a couple editions of it, the Criterion, and, this nice little, book Blu-ray.
That's super cool.
Yeah. And I just thought it was a good, flip, because Davis was, more than a household name by that point. But, she's not the one trying to manipulate behind the scenes necessarily. She's the one kind of trying to deal with it,
Right.
She's not the young one trying to come up,
Exactly.
My number 3 is actually Dark Victory, which came out in 1939. And, of course, Bette Davis, along with George Brent, who did quite a bit with both Davis and Barbara Stanwyck, another favorite of mine. Bette Davis, of course, she's a socialite in it, very, wealthy, and she enjoys riding horses. We were just talking about that. She finds out she has a brain tumor, and, there's different assessments she gets throughout the movie, but it's basically just kind of a human behavior perspective on, like, one's death, I guess, or, like, fate, potentially.
Facing one's own imminent demise.
Mortality.
And how you deal with it, yeah.
Yeah. And, she had quite a few movies like that in the 30s, where a character kind of meets potentially drearier outcomes.
Oh, yeah.
But I thought this one was one of the more poignant ones.
Absolutely.
And I think it was actually like the second or third Davis movie I watched.
Okay.
So it was one that kind of set a certain bar for me, so I still have to kind of put it at number 3 as it is.
Understandable, yeah. I love Dark Victory. I saw it for the first time when I was really, really young. That's one that my parents showed me early on in my childhood, and from then up to even now, having rewatched it a couple times along the way, the ending always kind of stuck with me and haunted me. It's very, definitely a tearjerker, and absolutely well worth the watch.
But we're still mostly in agreement, even though our spots differ a bit.
Oh, yeah. No, definitely. My number 3 is actually going to be one that is, I would say, not necessarily obscure in her filmography, but not talked about nearly as much, and that's going to be The Letter from 1940.
Yeah.
It is definitely near the top as far as my preferred Bette Davis performances. I really like her character in that she is so avoidant and slippery, and it's just like, I don't know. And something about her dynamic with Herbert Marshall, and just the way he is so committed to her, and the way she just kind of, drags him under the bus. It's just, I don't know. They've got that dynamic going, and I love it. It's melodrama of the highest order.
Oh, yeah.
It's got atmosphere because it's set on a Malaysian plantation, and it's a movie that opens with a bang, literally and figuratively.
Yeah, down that set of staircases, shoot, falls down the steps, and then boom, boom, boom.
Yup. It's like, how can you empty the gun and then claim self-defense? But you viewers will have to watch the movie to find out the answer to that question.
That wasn't much of a spoiler. That's on like the initial setup of the
exactly.
story. Really.
Yup.
Yeah. But I remember all those shots of like the moon, especially towards the end. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And that was one she helped me make sure I acquired on Blu-ray too.
Yeah, absolutely. We got a couple copies of that into the movie store that I work at, and one copy went home with him, the other went home with me. They moved off the shelves pretty quickly.
Yeah, funny how that worked out.
Yup.
Yeah.
Thank you, Warner Archive, by the way.
There you go. It's just nice that I've gotten so many of these on physical, though.
Yeah, 100%.
By the way, there's still like a few out there I'm sure haven't really gotten, a DVD release, let alone a Blu-ray one. But,
yeah, most definitely.
Yeah. Like, I know there's some debate on the ending to it. I know, like, certain studios or producers at the time wanted to make sure, this person still has to face, like, consequences or...
Yeah, so the Motion Picture Production Code that demanded that, basically any crime be shown to be punished and reinforce the message of crime doesn't pay to viewers of the day.
Yeah. So I know, like, maybe we lost out on some, like, more, like, morally gray, like, endings.
Sure.
Like, do you think it, like, obviously you didn't think it hurt it that much, but would you have preferred something more, so-and-so gets away with it, or do you think it didn't matter as much? So
without spoiling it too much for anyone who hasn't seen the film, I, like we were saying, don't have a problem with the clear, black and white, cut and dried ending, but... in the perfect world, what would I have loved to have seen? I would like to have seen it explored if Bette Davis and Herbert Marshall had been forced kind of to stay together and kind of be isolated in that part of the world, with really no other people with them from their native country. I would have liked to have seen that play out, almost like this is what she deserves. She brought herself to this place, and she needs to realize that type of thing.
Like, of course, there's a whole so-and-so needs to realize this too, and the way they ended anyway, you know?
That is true. That is true.
But, it's a bit more simplistic, I guess.
Oh, yeah.
But it works well enough, obviously.
It absolutely does, yeah. Well, back over to you.
Okay. We can keep talking about the letter for another 20 minutes. I'd be okay with that. That's okay.
I mean, yeah, that did run a little bit long.
No, it's fine.
Go for it.
My number 2, this was a challenge for me as well, but it's The Private Lives of Elizabeth and Essex.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, for sure.
That was another, I think it was 39?
That sounds right.
Like late 30s at least.
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah. Bette Davis, of course, and Errol Flynn, who I guess didn't get along quite that well initially.
Okay.
But then she's seen the cut of it, and he's brilliant.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, Errol Flynn was, he had his issues.
Right,
let's not gloss over that. But no, solid actor. The man had a lot of talent, a lot of potential.
I just think it's big personalities, like the biggest women star in Hollywood, and probably one of the biggest male actors of the era too. You know?
Of his time. Yeah.
He played Robin Hood right around then too.
Yup, and had played Captain Blood in 1935, which was another brilliant film.
Of course, this is like a period drama, so it's really different for a Bette Davis movie. And I saw it as like a really transformative role for her too.
Oh yeah.
Where she showed that she wanted to play this person, not just be Bette Davis in the Queen Bette Davis in a period setting,
Yeah.
But just like her makeup, it wasn't like it has a look to it, sure, but it's not like conventionally beautiful.
No, the makeup job in Elizabeth and Essex is extreme in the most interesting way. It's not something you see in the day very much, and it really, really stood out.
So that, I think, was really something that solidified just how incredible she was, and like her monologues in the movie too.
Oh yeah.
About so much so that I rewound it and I recorded a 1-minute monologue from her just to send to my brother, say, hey, this is why you should probably try to watch this stuff.
Yeah, I honestly, her To Be a Queen monologue is something that I screen captured and posted over on my channel because I thought it was worth getting out there for people to see. Yeah, it's beautiful.
See, it's not just me.
No, it is definitely not.
And then, I talked about some endings I liked earlier, but the one in this one, the note it ends on, it's kind of just on Bette Davis's face. And I know they had a cut where they showed more of, I don't want to directly spoil it, but more of directly what was happening. But I think the choice of keeping it on her face and you just kind of hear stuff in the background. And, that was one more distinct, conclusions, I thought, that it has stuck with me quite a bit.
Oh, yeah. Makes sense. Yeah. My number 2 is going to have to be, we're going to go back to it, Whatever Happened to Baby Jane.
Of course.
That's another that's kind of been with me since my childhood. I remember my dad showing it to me pretty early on and just feeling confused, weirded out, intrigued, and shocked.
Yeah.
And that's, again, one that I have watched over and over again throughout the years. And you really can't beat the rivalry between Bette Davis and Joan Crawford. And it's one of the very few movies where I'm almost gonna prefer Joan Crawford's performance, but they're both so brilliant. It's only because Bette Davis is so unsympathetic in it.
Right.
But it's done in the most satirical, amazing way. The parrot scene is gonna be forever burned into my memory. And it's just, it came out in 1962, and it's just a piece of, I don't know, 1960s weirdness, pseudo-horror, just, it's incredible, and I love it, and it's everything, to me, it's everything that, it lives up to its reputation.
Yeah.
Her musical number when she sings "I've Written a Letter to Daddy," that's something my family will jokingly reference from time to time. Her inflections, her tone, and then can I just give a shout out for Victor Wow, Victor Buono's performance. That is a name I'm gonna trip over every time. But his facial expressions are probably a third of what make the movie.
Like, as soon as this character comes in, it kind of gives like this slight comedic relief
Oh,
to
yeah.
it too, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Do you ever sing like she did by yourself at night or anything?
That's not something
Yeah.
I'm gonna disclose for the world to hear.
Well, let's leave that part ominous and ambiguous, but
Maybe I do, maybe I don't.
I have. But yeah, that was something I think Bette Davis and Joan Crawford, we won't talk too much about like their in real life issues,
Yeah.
but you know, they were a pretty established like Hollywood rivalry by that point, and they knew it, and they got them to be in a movie together for, you know, business, right?
And it worked.
It
I mean, it paid off so well.
Yeah. And I think it's the only Bette Davis Funko Pop that's out there.
Is it really?
Yeah,
I need it. I need it now.
Baby Jane Hudson, yeah.
I want that. That needs to go on my movie shelf. I didn't even know that existed. Sign me up.
Yeah, I was shocked, but they have all the makeup and like the mole and stuff, you know.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
I need that.
Yeah. But that's one that could easily just creep in for me too. Like I said, that was among like my 10 honorable mentions.
That's very fair.
As was The Letter and All About Eve and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Oh, yeah.
But now, number one.
The big reveal.
Yeah, the pressure's on. Am I going to be a joke? Am I going to be like the most obvious person possible?
I mean, mine won't be obvious to anyone that doesn't know me. So, go for it.
You see, I thought All About Eve was going to be number one for you. So
Ooh,
you actually have me wondering a little bit for you.
Okay.
It's not my number one either, though.
All right.
My number one is Now Voyager.
Oh, that would be probably at the top of my honorable mentions.
Yeah. Now Voyager, 1942. I am very certain on that one. And just I think it's, for me anyway, I think one of Bette Davis's best like character arcs per se.
Oh yeah.
It's another transformative role too, because you see her with like that brow.
Yeah, the physical transformation is fascinating. The way she grows throughout the film.
And you know, kind of playing against what people's like public's perception was of her. You know, kind of you know, I don't want to say dressing her down, but you know, making her look unappealing, even though she still was.
Yeah, yeah. As her character grows throughout that movie, she is gorgeous.
Yeah. And you know, just like it's on like a Criterion release too. Just her hat on the boat and everything.
Yeah,
like that.
it's iconic. That is an iconic shot.
And there's like these specific moments where she, you know, lights her own cigarette, or her co-star lights it for her, and there's debate. Oh yeah, who thought to do that in that shot? You know, was it them or the director? But it's of course by Irving Rapper, who was frequent director collaborator with her. Did a bunch of other ones like I just talked about Another Man's Poison, Deception, which is another one on my long list of honorable mentions. But I just like it has a sweeping nature to it, but it still feels intimate too.
That's a fantastic description. I think that fits it to a T.
And it's probably one that what's like for me the most like objectively like full movie of hers I've seen so far, and that might be it personally for me.
Yeah.
Rapper also, by the way, did the Corn is Green, which I recently watched. Yeah.
Now, her co-star in Now Voyager is Paul Henreid, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, who she also collaborated with several times, and they play off each other very well in it, I think. Let's ask for the moon. We have the stars.
Ironically, with her, and I just mentioned, Deception. I thought they always had like pretty able chemistry together.
They do. They're good together. Yeah.
And I believe Claude Rains as well.
Claude Rains was Claude Rains collaborated with her also several times. And for me, speaking personally, Claude Rains is always another of those very welcome names in classic cinema. He lends a lot of sophistication to any project he was involved with.
And the three of them, that cast combination was, utilized again, years later. And I think there's a reason for that because of the success of Now Voyager.
Yeah, for sure. Well, number one on my list, again, isn't the most prominent of Bette Davis's filmography, but it's also no surprise if you know me as a person, and it is going to be The Little Foxes from 1941.
That makes sense now.
I do have a deep, abiding, and enduring love for that film. It will always be easily one of my all-time favorite movies across any era, no matter what. And is it my favorite Bette Davis performance? No, that really is gonna get thrown more toward like The Letter, like I mentioned earlier. But just as a movie overall, I can't beat The Little Foxes. That is a movie that I have been obsessed with for, I would say, about 6 years now. The cast is uniformly excellent. It's from the stage play written by Lillian Hellman. And yeah, it features bad Bette Davis, which is always fun. Getting up to her shenanigans as her character conspires with her brothers in the Deep South at the turn of the century to start a cotton mill, exploit cheap labor, and basically give her daughter the rich, provided for abundant lifestyle that she always craved growing up, at the expense of morally corrupting her daughter, which her estranged husband, played again by Herbert Marshall, is single-handedly trying to stop. And Herbert Marshall's portrayal of Horace Giddens will always and forever be one of my all-time favorite fictional characters. He is wise and gentle and tragic. You can probably find other videos on my channel where I've said all this before, but I just love The Little Foxes so much. It was Teresa Wright's film debut. She is absolutely stunning in it, both in terms of beauty and performance caliber. And yeah, it's always gonna be number one for me.
Yeah. That's fair. Well, that was one I liked quite a bit too, and I remember the production of it and the setting stuck out for me quite a bit too.
Yeah.
Like the outfits, I remember quite a bit of Bette Davis's like dresses in it.
Oh
and
yeah.
Stuff,
Yup, big hair.
Yeah. Now that one's not very dressed down.
No, not at all. Not at all. She is the ultimate wannabe Southern aristocrat. And funny thing about that movie that I might as well throw in, The Little Foxes was nominated for Best Picture. It lost to, I believe, How Green Was My Valley. But I want to say Teresa Wright and Patricia Collins were both nominated for Best Supporting Actress. And then I can't remember specifically off the top of my head if Bette Davis was nominated for Best Actress, but I want to say she might have been.
Yeah.
But with all of the nominations being thrown at this movie, not a one went to Herbert Marshall. And I think that was excruciatingly undeserved. But
yeah, even Bette Davis herself had like a scattered history with the awards.
She did. Her wins were for interesting choices, to say the least.
I mean, like, we're getting a little off topic here, but
we are.
This is about Bette Davis in general, so... Like, I remember a lot of people wanted her to win for Of Human Bondage all the way back in, 34, 35.
That makes sense. It's a hardcore performance.
But there was even, massive, mail-in votes that were trying to, instill, her nomination, basically.
That's crazy.
So they shut that down, I think after that year, but then they kind of listened to them. So then she got an award for Dangerous, I believe.
Yeah.
Which is a good movie.
Yeah, it's solid.
Yeah. But it almost felt like, hey, we're sorry, now calm down.
It's the makeup Oscar, yeah. It's the consolation prize.
Yep. But yeah, any parting thoughts? I know there's just a couple notes on a couple of mine I wanted to mention real quick.
Yeah, go for it. I think that was mainly what I had off the top of my head.
Like The Nanny, the Hammer horror film I had talked about a few spots ago, it being the last black and white Hammer film.
That's right, yeah.
I think is no small fact. And then with Another Man's Poison, I had read that her and Gary Merle had actually improvised or rewrote quite a bit of it.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
They had agreed to it, but then they didn't think that much of the thing itself in general.
Okay.
So I thought, hey, let's kind of make it our thing.
That's neat.
Let's punch it up and kind of just do things that we think would be interesting.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know specifically what they changed or not, but I think you can tell because of how well they kind of started to click in that movie.
They really do, yeah. Their performances jive very well together, and they obviously, you know, it's two huge, talented professionals doing what they do best, and that's very apparent.
And I think they're able to, you know, pull that off because of their success previously together with All About Eve. And
absolutely.
Yeah. But you said you were good?
Yeah, I believe that's all I had. Thank you so much for asking me to do this video with you. This was fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just thrilled to be able to, like, verbally communicate with someone about Bette Davis now.
Yeah, it's cool to do, like, a sit-down, you know, interview / top 5 bounce back and forth.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed the opportunity to do this. So.
Yeah. Maybe we could do one on a movie we both haven't seen at some point. Maybe we'll do one on Barbara Stanwyck. Maybe
that would be fun.
Else.
I'm down to talk about Barbara Stanwyck anytime. Yeah.
That could go a couple hours for me. But,
very fair.
Yeah. All right. Thank you guys, and catch you later.
All right. Signing off.
Peace.